Okay, this is part 2 of that McDonald's example from lesson 0, if you happen to miss class on the first day or maybe you're taking the course online. We looked at all these summary statistics. We had McDonald's fries from 3 locations. We collected 59 orders from Northeast. We calculated things like the mean, median, quartiles, minimums, maximums, and where we left off was at standard deviation. In words, this is such a super important concept for this course. Standard deviation is like the average distance to the mean, or you could say it's like the typical distance to the mean. Think about running a McDonald's restaurant from a managerial perspective. Would I want this number to be big or small? At Northeast, do I want my fry weights to have lots of variation or not a lot of variation, right? We would want these standard deviations to be small. Now let's try to visualize this. At the Northeast location, the standard deviation was about 10.2. At Elton, I guess a little bit better, 9.7. That's in terms of grams. At Rising Sun was 9.84. So I'm going to look just specifically at the histogram for Elton. If you flip back one page, the mean of Elton was 63 grams. Remember, supposed to be 71 grams. So we have a mean of 63 and a standard deviation of 9.7. Let's try to visualize exactly what that means. So if we look here at the middle histogram, I put sort of some messy dots here, but I'll try to get the point across. The mean at Elkton was 63 grams. I put a vertical line there. It's supposed to be 71 grams. When you order small fries at McDonald's, it's supposed to be 71 grams. And if we look at this second to left rectangle, this rectangle was built on a bunch of orders of fries, right? Depending on how many orders of fries were between 50 and 60 grams, the rectangle would get taller. If there was a lot, this would be way up here. And these fry weights, I don't know precisely what they are, but if I started drawing lines, that's how far a fry weight is from the mean. And maybe there's a dot here, and there's another one. And you could think about all those orders of fries. How far are they away from 63? If there's a lot of variation in the data set, then on average those fries will be far from 63 grams. Okay, so I go way up to the highest, the largest orders. Right? These are pretty darn far away. Maybe there's some that was maybe an order was 85 grams, and so 85 grams, how far away is that from the average of 63? 85 is about 22 grams away, okay? And so if you did that for all those orders of fries at the Elkton location, you would end up with the standard deviation, okay? And so I'll just put it here, S equals, for Elkton, let me remind myself, it was 9.7. It is in grams, it's in the same units as our original data values. And so, on average, fry weights are about 9.7 grams away from the mean. That's the idea. It's a simple idea, but it's super important. So much of statistics is based on quantifying how much spread there is in a data set. Okay? If you look to Rising Sun or Northeast, this was 9.84, and you would have the same idea, put a line at the mean, and on average, how far would the individual fry weights be away from the mean at Northeast? Same for Rising Sun. All right, I believe there's a few questions in the notes. Let's go through those. If I flip to here, question 1, next page. Remember that small fries were supposed to weigh 71 grams. This is what the website said. Is McDonald's meeting its claim? Why or why not? I think it's clear cut that they're not, but I'll cover my bases. I'll write it. Probably not. Is McDonald's meeting its claim? Why aren't they? If you think of the summary statistics, fries are supposed to weigh 71 grams, and our means were way less than 71 for all 3 locations, right? So let me just write some facts down. At each location, mean weight was way below 71 grams. I'll underline way because it just feels like it's way lower than it probably should be. At all three locations, way more than half of the fries were under 71 grams. At all three locations, way more than half of the orders were under 71 grams. Now, it's the first day of statistics. Where we go at this course, we'll actually develop a formal test. Can I run a statistical test to determine if the Elkton location is failing to meet its claim? Okay. At this point, we can only look at the graphical evidence, we can only look at the summary statistics, and make a judgment call. Do I know for sure that the McDonald's restaurants aren't meeting their claims? I don't. Could students have ate a few fries on the way back to school before weighing them? It could happen, right? But based on the data, I would say the answer to this question is probably not. Is McDonald's meeting its claim? Probably not. Okay, question 2. What would happen to the shapes of the graphs and the values of all those statistics if we took a new sample? So think about this, students. When I collect data, I get a data set, right? I get a bunch of values depending on which orders of fries were purchased. I can tally them up, I can make graphs. If I threw all that data away and sent students back to McDonald's for a second go-around, what would happen? The shapes of the graphs would certainly change, right? Shapes of graphs would certainly change. How about the values of the statistics? Would I get the same sample standard deviations, medians, and quartiles? Of course not. If I had new data, all of those statistics would change, so we'll write that down as well. Shapes of the graphs would change. All those statistics that we calculated, statistics would too. When you're running a study, when you're answering a question by using statistics, by calculating data, we have to understand this from day one, that the data that we collect is not the only possible data set, right? There's variation, and in statistics, we have to learn to manage that variation and even use it to our advantage. All right, question 3. This follows from 2. To answer our research question, so we were checking up on McDonald's. Does McDonald's meet their claim on the website, 71 grams for small? To answer our research questions in practice, how many samples are we going to take? The answer is just 1, right? We're not going to send students out multiple times. Since we're going to just take 1 sample, and a lot of times it'll be constrained by how much time you have, how much money you want to spend. If we take just 1, we have to take a good sample. We'll learn in upcoming lessons, how can I collect the best possible sample, a sample that's representative of the whole population. To answer our research questions, how many samples we take? Just 1. We need to collect good data, and we have to realize that that sample is not the only possible sample, going back to number 2. Okay. Last question. Little tricky one, but I think this is interesting and sort of important. And if you understand the answer to this question, you're doing pretty good, I think. Tricky but important. Think of McDonald's, you could just pick 1 location, make it simpler. Think of Rising Sun. If the true mean at Rising Sun for small fries was really 71 grams, what percentage of orders will weigh in below 71 grams? If the true mean is 71, what percentage of orders will weigh in below 71 grams? Now the incorrect answer is 0%. I've had students, I have asked this question in class, what percentage of orders will come in under 71? And they'll say, well, it should be none. The answer really is actually 50%. Now think about that. If McDonald's is doing their job, then their average small fry weight going out the door should be 71 grams. And fry weights will vary. But hopefully, if the restaurant's using good quality control, they should vary very little, right? But some of the orders will end up being under 71 grams. Some of the orders will be over 71. We're just hoping it's really close to 71. We're hoping there's a little bit of variation, not a lot. Currently, the data that students collected, we had orders all the way down in the 30s and 40 grams. We had up to 90 grams, and it was just huge variation. Okay, that's not good quality control. We'd like the variation to be small. And if the true mean is 71, think about this. Then if I collected 100 orders of fries, I would actually expect 50 of them, half of them, to be 71 grams or over, and I would actually expect half of them or 50 to be 71 grams or under. And we hope with a very small standard deviation. Okay, some big ideas in this video. I think that's it. Yep. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in class.